Violence on Inauguration Day. Tulsi Gabbard, is she a Russian asset? Will Tesla stock crash even further? And what's going on with the SEC finding Elon Musk? And will we figure out who's going to emerge as the spokesman for the Democratic Party? Let's look into that. Welcome to Scrying Out Loud. My name is Trevor. In my 2024 tarot scopes, I talked about totems and how they can be signs from the universe for you to either show you're on the right track, maybe suggest that you should look at something a little bit deeper. And it seems over the last 5 or 6 days, I have seen just an enormous amount of images of Hillary Clinton. And you might think that would draw me to Hillary Clinton, but it's not. It's drawing me to Tulsi Gabbard. So Hillary Clinton famously called Tulsi Gabbard a Russian asset. And I think we should look at that to start with. And then we'll start to look at around the energies around the inauguration, which will be a little bit crazy astrologically. And then Tesla stock crashed a little bit today or yesterday. And the SEC is trying to find Elon Musk. Let's look at that. And then we'll also look to see if we're going to get somebody emerging as a spokesperson for the Democrats. I have a feeling we are. So let's first start with Tulsi Gabbard. And let's just ask the question, what do we need to know? And see if it leads us somewhere. So what do we need to know about Tulsi Gabbard? So this reading, as all of them, are for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice, certainly. So what do we need to know about Tulsi Gabbard? Getting the image of her back in, forget, 2017, maybe, when she met with Assad, who's now, of course, in Russia. Syria's been overthrown by the rebels. I get this really strong pull to her being in contact with, I'm getting the image of Putin, but I'm also getting the image of Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea or dictator of North Korea. What do we need to know about Tulsi Gabbard? Yeah, I'm getting the image of the Queen of Pentacles, which is normally about leadership and financial success, but also could be a symbol of, willing to take money for status. So let's just see what the cards have to say on Tulsi Gabbard. So we get the Ace of Wands. This is a new beginning and a fiery new beginning. It might not be one she really thinks she wants. So if she does get approved as the DNI, it might turn out to actually be bad for her. That's the image I get. Um, the challenge card's the Eight of Swords, which is about confinement, feeling trapped. I think she is not qualified for the job. I think she doesn't know how to answer questions. I think she feels very constrained about speaking her mind because I think her viewpoints are rather not in line with the typical national security viewpoints. So I think that's her challenge, is whether she can end up being that spy in the camp, so to speak. Um, Underneath, we get the Four of Swords. This speaks of ill health, also could be ill intentions. Um, in the past, we get the Seven of Wands. This is, here the imagery is of the guy kneeling and praying before defending himself. So in the past, she's felt the need to defend her position, such as her position on Assad, her position on Russia. Um, in the sky, we get temperance, which is about moderation. Um, so the hope is that maybe she will be, a little bit more moderate, but it makes me feel like that's just an illusion, that really this is all just about ill intentions and keeping things under wrap until she can be in a position to maybe make some money for herself. Yeah, in the near term outcome, we get bombshells and revelations. So this stuff might come out before she gets confirmed. She might not get confirmed. I've always been kind of iffy on her, more so than the other crazies that are in the mix. Um, she's kind of been a wild card on whether I think she would get confirmed. So the Page of Cups about bombshells and revelations. And then we get the Queen of Wands. This is, fiery but steady leadership. This might be, like a Susan Collins or a Lisa Murkowski or even a Democrat coming out and just being like, this is a step too far. She's not qualified, one. And two, um, we're not sure her intentions are well intended. We get the Wheel of Fortune. So the fortune's going to turn one way or the other, which makes sense. She's either going to get confirmed or she's not going to get confirmed. Um, and whether that's good or bad for her personally is, I think, a bit of a more open question. The hopes and fears is the Five of Pentacles. I think this is a fear for the country, is that the country is being left out on what's really going on when it comes to national security, in that we don't really have these things that we kind of have taken for granted for generations, of the people in power being, looking out for the best interests of the country. I think a lot of us feel that's not the case anymore. And the outcome is the Knight of Pentacles. This is kind of an offering of money, right? This is kind of like the Queen of Pentacles that I was seeing. Um, and we get the Four of Pentacles. And in this illustration, it's like, bowing before the king, the three people bowing before the king. Here, the king, I guess, it feels like it's Trump. And the people bowing before him almost feel like the senators, like they're almost just willing to give in to what he wants. Um, but then we get the Six of Cups. It's about intergenerational relationships. And underneath, we get the Ace of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the Fool card. And we get the Empress, which is about Russia. And we get the Ten of Pentacles, which can be about inheritance, and death as well. So I think what we need to know is that she is a sketchy character at best. And at worst, she's, more of a Russian asset, right? Like Clinton was saying. And that really she's in it for one thing and one thing only, and that's the money. And not the money that she's going to be making as a salary, money that she's going to be making somewhere else. Again, entertainment purposes only, but I hopefully she doesn't get confirmed. I have a feeling she's, I'm not going to say that she won't, and I'm not going to say that she will, because I think the energies are still kind of a little bit up in the air there. But that's the one that I think, if Republicans were going to take a stand on, that might be the one that they take the stand on. But that might be wishful thinking. We've seen Republicans kowtow to a lot of things, uh, in recent years. Let's take a look at Elon Musk and Tesla. So I think it was Goldman Sachs came out and said, they see Tesla stock being down 70% by the end of 2025, which is a dramatic drop. And the SEC is suing Elon Musk. They're not charging him with the crime. They're suing him for money. They're trying to fine him. I think that's to get around any sort of pardons that might be able to be done. But, anything can happen once the Republicans take over. So, Will, let's just ask the question this. Um, Show us Elon Musk over the next 12 months, both his financial and um, public image. Show us Elon Musk's financial and public image. I see that Five of Pentacles that we just pulled for Gabbard. I think things aren't going to go well for him financially. Now, what that means for a billionaire and what that means for us everyday people are two different things. Show us Elon Musk's financial and public reputation over the next 12 months. They're very hot temperature. So there's a lot of energy around him. Curious, we should maybe look up his astrology. Um, so we get the Eight of Pentacles. He's hard at work, not necessarily for his company, but the challenge is things are being paused and suspended. And that's kind of an interesting card in the challenge position because one of the reasons why Tesla stock has been down is that they haven't been able to deliver on their orders. So it's like the manufacturing stage is paused and suspended. That's the challenge. Uh, we get the King of Cups. This is, the card for the Democrats. I think the Democrats are going to be really checking in on what he's doing. It's rumored that he's going to have an office in the White House, like a physical office in the White House, not just a place in the White House. Um, and the past is the star card. That's interesting. So the star card usually represents protection. Um, like I sometimes think of it as the guardian angel card, but it's in the past. I don't think he enjoys that protection anymore. Uh, we get the Six of Cups in the sky. This is about intergenerational relationships. You know, Tesla 20 years ago, maybe 20 years goes too far, 15 years ago, was really kind of a cult stock. A lot of people of that generation were investing in it. And basically they'd get zero return if you go back and you look over 15 years or I don't know exactly. That's what it was a few months ago, but um I think it's no longer that meme stock anymore. Like the younger people, the 18, 19, 20 year olds that are getting into the Robin Hoods and these trading platforms, I don't think they're thinking about Tesla the way it was looked at before. The near term outcome is the Ace of Wands. So some fiery new beginnings, which might include a bunch of firings. I just got that. In my ear. We might hear about some layoffs in Tesla, maybe some rearranging of some stuff. There's a lot to be revealed yet with the moon card. Um, we get the lovers cards. This is about partnerships. Um, his partnership with Trump, which I don't think is reputationally serving him well. I don't actually think he's that smart. That's like kind of what I get. I don't think he's stupid by any stretch of the imagination either, but I don't think he's as clever as he thinks he is, so to speak. So I think that partnership really is going to hurt him. The hope and the fear, in hopes and fears, we get the Ace of Pentacles. It's about, new beginnings around money. Will Tesla start to be a profitable company? They really have never been profitable before. And and isn't that interesting as an outcome card? We get the Eight of Swords, which is about confinement. It's like he's going to be constrained in a way. It's like the board of Tesla is going to be like, you need to make a choice here, because it's a publicly traded company. Stockholders have a say now, um, or the shareholders have a say. Like you're gonna have, I think he's gonna be faced with the choice of either you're working for the government or you're working for Tesla, or there needs to be some sort of rearrangement in the company. Let's get the Page of Swords, which is about a spy in the camp. It's almost like there's somebody willing to bring him down as being a uh, bad leader. And we get the Knight of Cups, which is a message being delivered. So I think I think we're going to hear about this, probably 6, 12 months. It's going to take a while, but things are going to happen. We have the Three of Wands. This is waiting for one ship to come in. This also could be foreign influence, or this could be influencing things us overseas as well. We get the Four of Swords again, which seems to come up anytime there's anything Trump adjacent. So this is about ill health, could be about ill attentions as well, could be about ill mental health. I do question how stable he is. And we get the Ten of Wands, which is about, overcoming big burdens. In this case, the guy's looking at the burdens that he needs to carry. He hasn't picked them up yet. So, um, yeah, I think we'll get some interesting news about Tesla. Um, Watch kind of the stock price and see if it follows along. Just I don't think it's going to be like, one day it's going to drop 70% because that's not how things generally work, although they can. I think it's just going to slowly maybe decline, and that'll change people's vantage points on it and on him as well, especially the people that are invested. Okay, before we look at the energy around the inauguration again, let's just see um, if there's going to be a new um, leader emerging amongst the Democrats. I get a real pull towards a male energy, and it feels young and it feels new, like it's somebody people don't know well. Like maybe we can get some images. Yeah, like a Wes Moore, he's governor of Maryland. I think he could be an interesting spokesperson for the Democrats. And, he's in Maryland, which is close enough to DC that he could um, get involved. That's the image that came into my mind when I picked up the crystal. Um, so show me, will the Democrats have a leader emerging to counterbalance the Republicans? Will the Democrats have a leader coming to the forefront to serve kind of as a spokesman for the party? So I think so. This isn't going to be the person that's going to be in charge of the DNC. It's going to be somebody else. They might even announce they're running for president. Um, I think in my 2025 predictions, it was that there would be a couple people announcing that they're forming exploratory committees about running for president, which is essentially the same thing. Um, let's see. So the Democrats are worried for sure. They're worried that they don't have a good message. This is the spy in the camp card. They're worried that there's a lot of self-sabotage. This kind of feels like a misinterpretation of what Fetterman's been saying almost, where he's saying, he might be open to supporting some Trump nominations. I don't think Fetterman means he supports Trump. I think what Fetterman means is he's going to do what it takes to keep that seat for the Democrats. Um, but there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of angst that the Democrats are going to mess this up. And I think that's really what this is about. Um, the challenge is fundraising. Will this person be able to raise enough money to where they could become a public face? Um, yeah, we get the Seven of Swords. There's a lot of scheming and backstabbing. Currently, I think, you can kind of feel this. Joe Biden came out and said, I thought Nancy Pelosi was always our friend. I think the way things went down with Biden, the way history will tell it will not be how it was told during the election, where he made this courageous move. I think it's going to be more of like the Democrats sabotaged his chances. Whether that's fair or not, I'm not making a judgment call on that. I'm just saying that's how I kind of see history viewing that decision. We get the Eight of Swords in the past. So feeling confined, feeling almost like the old guard is in place, like they're not free to speak. So when the uh, certification happened, I said there wouldn't be any objections, and there weren't any objections. And I don't think that was because there didn't want to be objections. I think it was because the leadership was saying, we're not going to do it that way. And I think that's now in the past. I think things are going to move forward from that position. Yeah, we get the Knight of Swords. This is a forward momentum. Things are going to start happening. And the near-term outcome, we still have this feeling of being wounded, this shell-shocked feeling of what happened in November. Um, but we're going to get new partnerships with the Lovers card. We get the Hangman. So pausing, suspension, really thinking about the correct way forward. And I'm not sure anybody has the right answer of what the correct way forward is, but I think there's a lot of thought going into it. The hopes and fears is that we get the Knight of Pentacles, that we get this like valorous person coming forward and saving the day that's very eloquently spoken. And that's the hope. The outcome's the tower. Actually, I think this is a pretty positive outcome. The answer is, I guess, no, we're maybe not going to get this leadership right away, but this kinetic and frantic energy might lead to something pretty constructive, right? Destruction has to happen before construction. We get the Knight of Cups, so a message will be coming forward eventually, and then we'll have to make choices. So we get the death card. This is like rebirth of the Democratic Party. It's reforming itself. There's a lot of things that we don't know yet. This is the moon card. And then we get illusion and delusion with the Seven of Cups. This is happening right now. Um, defending oneself, defending positions, um, and particularly decisions around inclusivity, these kind of things. And but ultimately the truth comes out and we get victory. So eventually there will be a spokesman for the Democratic Party. I don't think we're talking 6 months from now. I think we're talking more like, 3 months, maybe get pulled to the eclipse season, which I think is in March. Um, it could be as late as September, I guess. But I think eventually we will get a new leader emerging. But it's not going to I was hoping it was going to happen a little faster. That's my bias, but um, I don't think it is. So let's look at, will there be violence around the inauguration? Just trying to decide which deck feels right. I think let's go with this deck. Um, so will there be violence around the inauguration? think there'll be peaceful protests. I think there'll be some attempts to turn the protests into violence. And I think those will come from bad actors. I don't think those will come from the people that are just wanting to come out and throw out their disdain for Trump. So will there be violence? Yeah, I almost feel like I'm getting an image of forget his name. He's one of the Proud Boys. Um, I think he's in prison now, but it's like there's this plotting, there's this scheming of how can we take advantage of any protests that happen and turn them into, a winning talking point rather than here's a million people that are, really upset. Violence. Interesting. I'm not getting like every time I read on the inauguration, it feels like there's a void. Like like a voided check. That's like the image I'm seeing is a check with the word void written on it. It's like there's almost no energy around the inauguration. It's like there's not celebration. Uh, a lot of people have commented on past videos that they don't plan on watching it, which neither do I. It's almost like it's going to be an event that happens that um, is only going to make news clips. Like the event itself isn't going to be that big of a event. There'll definitely be news around it and things that were said will be repeated and stuff like that. But let's see, yes, immediately we get the Four of Swords. It's about ill health, needing to rest, low energy. I mean, that goes perfectly with what I'm seeing. Um, about there just feeling like it's gonna happen, but it's not gonna be good. We get the Seven of Pentacles. This is in the challenge position, trying to plant seeds. This is Trump trying to set his agenda. He's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to get a message out that's coherent. I've always felt like the message was going to come out really muddled. We get illusion and delusion. I think this is, just Republicans being just delusional about what they're going to be able to accomplish. I don't think it's going to be a lot. Um, we get the Three of Wands. This is in the past, waiting for someone's ship to come in. It's also going to be foreign influence, which clearly happened in the election, as we've discussed. Ultimately, it's about the voters and families and coming together. Um, but that's in celebration. I don't think the inauguration is a celebratory event for most people, but I think ultimately people are going to go to their respective corners and group together with their collective close friends and family that they see eye to eye on. We get new partnerships in the near term outcome. That could be a really positive thing for Democrats. Uh, we get the Queen of Pentacles, the steady leadership. We do get a message coming forward, which is the inaugural address. Um, the hopes and fears, it's the victory card, and I think it's actually a hope, but I think it's a hope for the people that didn't vote for Trump that the inaugural address is almost like proof that everything he was saying was nonsense and crazy. And the outcome, we get the Ten of Wands, an end of a cycle. Like I said, I think this is the beginning of the end for him. Like it feels that way. The Wheel of Fortune's turning. That doesn't mean it's turning in a positive direction for him. And then we get the Page of Wands, a fiery message. And then we get a card for the Democrats. It's underneath. It's celebrations, trying to get away with something. I think they already did. fighting, steady stability, or at least the want for stability. Um, yeah, let's maybe just pull a couple more cards from another deck. So I don't think there's going to be violence around the inauguration. I could be right, I could be wrong. I'm right more times than I'm wrong, but let's just kind of let's just ask the question about uh, show us the first 3 months of the Trump presidency. I, it just feels like nothing happens. It's like that void check. It's the first 3 months of the Trump presidency. Yeah, I think there'll be some scandals. There'll be some, salacious headlines, just to be expected. But as far as legislatively things getting done, it just feels empty. So we have pausing and suspension, like no forward momentum, right? Like it's just there. Um, the challenge is apathy and loss. Like I I don't think he has the appetite to push things through. Um, Get the Six of Swords. This is moving away from troubled waters, and I think this is for the collective, feeling like we're dodging a bullet. Um, we do get a message about money, but it's in the past. We get that being confined, like constraint, like he just can't move things forward, right? This is the third time I think the Eight of Swords has popped up um, during this video. Like things just can't move forward. Like he's constrained in some way, whether that's by health, by the lack of a good majority in the House. Uh, Near true outcome is a new beginning. This almost makes me feel like we have a new person in charge. Um, the defending oneself with the Seven of Swords, and this could also just be the Republicans as a whole and the people in the administration defending themselves. Steady leadership, and then the hopes and fears is the victory card, but this is the after terror. The victory already happened. And then we get chaotic and frantic movement with the chariot card. There's the card for Trump. So that's confirmation that we're reading. It's like nothing's going to happen, but it's going to happen fast. It's like the whirlwind of the news cycle, right? Like the news cycle is going to make it feel like things are happening fast, but in reality, nothing's happening. That's what it feels like to me. Intergenerational relationships, wounded in battle, we get justice underneath, anxiety, money, of course, ill health, isolation. Um, yeah, I think he's going to have a really rough go of it, both health wise and legislatively. I just don't see big things happening. Um, I could be right, I could be wrong. All right, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Um, I appreciate y'all. I'll be back with another video soon.